Welcome, everybody, to another edition of E.W. Jackson for America. I trust that everything is coming through the way it's supposed to. I certainly hope so. I did my first Truth and Liberty yesterday, and I might have changed or altered some things, but I trust I did not. Oh, boy. And it would be entirely my fault if I did. So I'm just double checking here to see whether you all can see me or not, whether I'm live streaming or not. And I can't really tell, to tell you the truth. So somebody feel free to email me at ewjackson@ewjackson.com. And I'll tell you what I'm going to do, just to be on the safe side. I'm going to record the program because if for whatever reason I messed up my system here, it's trying to change something. I should have known better. I shouldn't have touched the thing. Which is, I guess what I really don't understand is why I don't see this, why I don't see the program on the Stand website when it should be there. But for whatever reason, it's not. And that I don't understand. Forgive me, folks. Let me just check one more time. Check my Facebook feed and see if anything is coming through on Facebook. Yes. Apparently it is. Okay. All right. I'm on. Entirely my fault. I take responsibility because it's not my technical people who did anything. I did something, but it looks like I didn't mess things up as much as I thought I might have. Okay. All right. With that, and so those are my Instagram folks. You see the George Washington statue here sharing the spotlight with me, and I'll tell you about that in a moment. Okay. Welcome to the Friday edition of E.W. Jackson for America. Big announcement. As of yesterday, day before, we have now confirmed all of our honorees. Our honorees for the June 11th. Stan Awards dinner are, you can see them there, but I won't hold it up for you to read. Brigitte Gabriel, the founder of Act for America. Dr. Johnny Hunter, the founder of Global Life, several organizations, pro-life organizations, but he is really, as I've heard some people call him, he is really the godfather of the pro-life movement in the black community. And I don't think there's any doubt about that. And he does not get the recognition he deserves. Sandy Rios, formerly of American Family Radio, talk show, formerly an American Family Radio talk show host along with me, and now has our own podcast, the Sandy Rios 24/7. And then Pastor Gary Hamrick, senior pastor of Cornerstone Chapel. You know, Pastor Gary Hamrick has a mega church. He has a 7,000 member church. And you know, most of these big churches, the pastors are simply not willing to take a stand. They're just not willing. They just won't do it. Oh, here we go. I see that's in the way. That's what you're seeing. I was trying to figure out what that was. They simply won't do it. He is not of that ilk. He is a courageous leader. And he uses his platform, and it often gets him into trouble and controversy, but he does not care because he's going to stand up for what God tells him to do, and he's not going to be cowed by the IRS or politicians or the left or anybody else, and I really have the greatest admiration for him. And so Gary Hamrick is one of our honorees. And by the way, that happened before we approached him about hosting it there because we were looking for a hotel, we were looking at the Bible Museum, but we're just getting kind of the runaround and difficulties and problems. And after having preached at his church and having heard him talk about this new building they built for overflow, I thought to myself, I wonder whether that building might be suitable for our event. And I really believe it was a move of God. And he said, absolutely it is, and we are happy to host it there. And so it will be, frankly, in my view, where it really belongs, in a church. So I'm grateful to him. That is entirely separate from the fact that he is one of our honorees this year. He would have been one of our honorees no matter where we held it. But it just so happens it's going to be in Cornerstone Chapel this year. We're grateful to God for him. So folks, we've got Brigitte Gabrielle, Johnny Hunter, Sandy Rios, and Pastor Gary Hamrick. And we're also honoring the late Bishop Dean Nelson. Now, you may or may not know who he is. Bishop Dean Nelson is the founder, was the founder of the Frederick Douglass Institute, Frederick Douglass Foundation. He has been a pro-life leader for many, many years. He led CareNet. He was the president of CareNet. I can't remember the name of the organization that he was consulting for, but he's also consulting for a major pro-life organization down in Dallas, Texas. And he has just been a networker par excellence. I mean, he's got his hands in every pie. He's one of these people who puts people together, who did put people together, tragically taken from us by cancer at the age of only 55 years old. And by the way, notice I don't say taken from us by God. I don't buy into that theology. Cancer took his life. God doesn't need cancer when he's ready for someone to come home. He doesn't need cancer to do it. But a young man, 55 years old, someone I had the utmost admiration for, helped me in my lieutenant governor's campaign, was a tremendous support and friend to me, and I will always be grateful to him. So the new president of the Frederick Douglass Institute or Foundation will be receiving the award in his behalf, but I just thought it would be appropriate, and his widow may be there as well, but that it would be appropriate to honor him because he really deserves that honor, because he has been a George Washington type patriot who has taken a stand. So those are our honorees: the late Bishop Dean Nelson, Pastor Gary Hamrick, Brigitte Gabrielle, Dr. Johnny Hunter, and Sandy Rios are honorees. Once again, we will have Senator Ted Cruz participating on some level. He may send in a videotape. We've certainly invited him to come, and we expect others from Congress to be there and people from all over the country to be there. Folks, this is our largest fundraiser of the year. It is critical to the work that we do. I hope that you will see fit to support us. Now, there are several ways you can do that. The tickets are $125. And now I'll tell you up front that we end up in the past, we haven't gotten this process started yet, with a lot of sponsors who sponsor tables and can't be there and can't fill the table. So we end up with a lot of complimentary tickets available. So I don't want to say that to discourage you from buying a ticket, but I'm just being upfront with you that toward the end of the process, we tend to have complimentary tickets available for people who are interested in coming and maybe either can't afford to come, or maybe they want to bring an entire family. They can't afford to bring everybody, and that kind of thing. But if you can afford to help us, help us. The ticket's $125. And even if you say, well, I can't come and I can't afford a $125 ticket, just make a contribution. Make a donation. This is really kind of our share-a-thon period, if you will, or I'll call it a stand-a-thon period, where we're raising the money for our budget for the following year. I mean, this is the biggest single budgetary effort we make. In the past, we've raised $200,000 because we've had, in the last 2 years, we've had a matching grant of $100,000 from one donor. I don't have that commitment yet this year. I'm hoping someone will do that. But our goal is $500,000 this year because we really need that in order to take our organization to the next level. We are 15 years old, and we really need to, there's some things that we've just got to put in place for the longevity of the organization. We want to step into a more rarefied atmosphere where we have a larger staff and the ability to do more, and that just has not happened for us yet. And of course, it doesn't happen without money. So we're asking for your prayers and we're asking for your support. So buy a ticket or tickets, make a donation to us. Now that's on the ticket level. And by the way, you can do this at standamerica.us. Let me make sure everything is on there. Actually, you know what? I don't see anything yet. Here we go. I take that back. I was about to say something that's not true. It is on our website. Just click on Stand Awards Dinner, and it is right there. And let's see, when you click on More Info, it takes you to last year's. Oh, I take that back. Now it's got the 2023 honorees there. But we need the 2024 honorees there. That's got last year's honorees there because, obviously, probably when this was done. But so the information is there now. Tickets and sponsorships, you click on that and it takes you to the sponsorship levels and all of that. It's got the tickets for 100. Yep, everything's in place. All you got to do is go to the website, standamerica.us, and it is all there. I've just double checked it myself to make sure. And I've got a couple of speaking engagements there too. I'll be speaking in Nashville on the 31st of May, and I'll be at Grace Church on the 6th, and I'm going to be out in Oklahoma with Pastor Paul Blair and his ministry coming up. Oh, I forget when. You know what? We'll get it on there, folks. I think it's in my schedule now, but I'll tell you about that too. All right, so that's the awards dinner and the ticket prices. Let me go back to this because I really want to delve into this a little bit more. Okay, so sponsorships. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sponsorship levels. It starts with the Patrick Henry sponsor at $1,500. You get one table, 2 reception tickets. And then the George Mason sponsor, $2,500. You get one table, 4 reception tickets. And then the James Madison sponsor at $5,000. You get 3 tables, 6 reception tickets. Then the Thomas Jefferson sponsor at $10,000. You get 4 tables, 8 reception tickets. And then the George Washington sponsor, $25,000. You get 5 tables, 10 reception tickets. Now, I want to thank now our George Washington sponsors because we have multiples of the others, but our George Washington sponsors especially because we only had 2 of them so far. The first was Foster Freeze, and then the second was Andrew Womack Ministries. And we are hoping to have multiple George Washington sponsors this year. George Foster Freeze, as you all probably know, has gone home to be with the Lord. Great Christian billionaire. And one of those billionaires who stepped up and did take a stand and put his money where his mouth was and really, really sought to help organizations. I mean, I've heard tremendous stories about the things that he did to kind of help put people on the map. And they never had to look back once he stepped in and gave them the help that they needed. We still need that kind of benefactor. Frankly, in our organization to help take us to the next level. And then we've added something this year called the presenting sponsor for $50,000. The presenting sponsor, $50,000, because we need someone to step up and make that kind of commitment. That would completely underwrite the event. That person will get 10 tables, they'll get 20 reception tickets, and they get underwriter recognition. So we've got a big event coming up. It's a very significant event. I solicit your prayers. I solicit your support. If you're one of those people who looks at the sponsorship and says, hey, I can do one of these sponsorships, by all means, get in touch with us. We ask that the sponsors primarily do it by check because, of course, there's a processing fee if you don't do it by check. Now, if you really prefer to do it online, that's fine. We can live with that. You can even do it online and include the cost of the processing, and that way it doesn't cost us anything to receive your donation. Or you can send a check because then it doesn't cost us anything either. All right. Well, that's it, folks. The Stand Awards dinner. We're looking forward to a great time. And I haven't even begun yet. Oh, I've got this sitting here. Here's the George Washington Award. And this will have the names of our honorees on them. And those people will be receiving this award on Tuesday night, June the 11th. Again, it's at Cornerstone Chapel in Leesburg, Virginia. So you want to be there. We're expecting a full house. We've only got seats for 320 people. And I really believe we're going to pack it out. So now's the time to get your tickets so that we can make sure we take care of you, okay? All right, that was one thing. Let's see. Is there anything else I need to cover? Oh, of course, Friday. This is Palm Sunday coming up. If you're living in the area, all roads lead to the Called Church, 943 Canal Drive on Resurrection Sunday. I prefer to call it Resurrection Sunday. Easter Ishtar is really a word that doesn't refer to Jesus' resurrection. It's a word that was kind of borrowed. And by the way, it's not in the Bible. They translated it Easter, but the Bible, the word the Bible uses is a word that means Passover. Okay? It was just borrowed the old Passover language and brought that into the New Covenant. But what it really is Resurrection Sunday, in my view. Easter, Resurrection Sunday, however you prefer to refer to it, we'd love to see you there. Okay, love to have you there. That's going to be 11 a.m. Easter Sunday morning. And, of course, I'll be there this coming Sunday for Palm Sunday services. People ask me, how often are you at your church? I told them I would say probably about 90% of the time. If you've got 52 Sundays in the year, well, let's put it this way. I think I'm only gone about 90% of the time to speak at other churches on a Sunday, okay? So maybe about 5 Sundays a year. This year I'll be gone by the time the quarter's over. By the time April is over, I will have been gone, I think, 2 Sundays, if I'm not mistaken. Now, I'm talking about for speaking engagements. There are times when I go away, for family or for holiday or something like that. But in terms of speaking events, that's fairly rare. I do it, but it's not that frequently. Because most of my invitations to speak are on weeknights or Saturdays, that kind of thing. And I'm usually back on Sunday for our worship services. In fact, that's the way it is for the next 2 events that are in the schedule now. I think I will, well, actually, no, I'll take that back. I think one in July I'll be going. I think in July I'll be going on a Sunday. But at any rate, most of the time I'm there. For people who aren't sure whether I'm going to be there, all you have to do is call us. Now, you call the church line on a weekend. We've had people do this. Is anybody going to be there? And the likelihood is you might not get a response. We're trying to clean that up. But if you call the church during the week, you will get an answer. 757-485-7777. Very easy. 757-485-7777. And you can ask, Bishop Jackson going to be there on Sunday? And most of the time, the answer will be yes. I'll certainly be there for Palm Sunday. I'll certainly be there for Resurrection Sunday. And I'm scheduled to be there, I think, for succeeding Sundays in the next month or so. Don't hold me to that exactly because, frankly, I don't keep my own schedule, folks, precisely for that reason, because I've got too much to do, and I depend upon others to help me keep my schedule straight, okay, as to what I'm doing and where I'm going and all that. And I don't tend to focus on what I've got to do or where I'm going to go until I get sort of close to it and I say, oh, okay, so next week I've got a trip too. But prior to that, I don't keep in my head all the engagements I've got because it would, it'll drive you bonkers trying to do that. So I don't even bother. Okay. All right. So we got Resurrection Sunday out of the way. We've got the Stand Awards dinner out of the way. I think, and don't forget, I did my first program last night. I'm now on every Thursday, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Truth and Liberty. And we had a wonderful program last night. We had Bob Good, Congressman Bob Good, chairman of the Freedom Caucus, who is facing a challenge which I don't understand, and I won't even get into it. I mean, I think it's ridiculous, but, that people play politics, and they've got their issues and all of that. They want to get rid of the chairman of the Freedom Caucus who helped us get rid of Kevin McCarthy. Really what they're doing is helping Kevin McCarthy to exact vengeance against those who helped get rid of him, and he needed to go. Yeah, he needed to go, and now we've got Mike Johnson there. And I tell you, Mike Johnson's not perfect any more than anybody else is, but I certainly trust Mike Johnson to try to do what is right rather than do what he thinks is going to enhance his own power and sort of, engaging in self-aggrandizement and look at who I am and how important I am. I mean, the fact that Kevin McCarthy is out here now trying to punish people who helped get rid of him tells you where his head is and where his heart is. His head and heart ought to be in doing what he can to help save America, not in punishing people who didn't support him for Speaker or oppose him for Speaker. But that's another matter. We need to make sure that Bob Good gets reelected and goes back to the Congress, period. And I think anything else is it's foolishness. But, people engage in foolishness all the time, and politics is one of the places where people gather to do foolishness sometimes. I've witnessed it myself. Thank God I don't think I've ever been involved in it or been a part of it, but I've certainly witnessed it. Okay, wow. That took longer than it should have, but it is Friday, and I take Friday to try to encourage you to support us. So right now, rather than going through Stand America and America's Forgotten Children, I will mention my book. I am still signing books for Patriot Partners who sign up to give $25 or more a month. I'm still signing books and sending them out. Just sent out several yesterday. So on a weekly basis, we have books going out the door. So if you haven't signed up to be a Patriot Partner with at least $25 a month, you can do that, and I'll sign and number a book for you. I haven't quite gotten to 100 yet, but I'm close to there. So who knows? Maybe you'll get number 100 even. I don't know how other people think about this, but if I were doing this, if I were buying a book, I'd almost hope that I got a number that I really liked. I mean, it's not superstition or anything. I don't think it has any, I don't believe in luck or anything like that. But I like certain numbers. I like 7, the number of heavenly completion. I like 1. It is the number of God. 3 is the number of God. That kind of thing. So, but at any rate, you can't guarantee that because it's on a first come, first served basis. So when your signing up comes in, you get the next number available. But who knows? Who knows what number you'll get? I think I'm about 10 away from 100 right now. I think that's where we are. I think we're at about 90. 90 Patriot Partners. Now, 90 people have signed up to be Patriot Partners and gotten the free book signed and numbered by me out of my own personal book stash, the author's stash, the originals, if you will, that I set aside for this purpose. I may have to have some more printed ultimately as this process continues. I want to get to 500 Patriot Partners, and I don't know where we are right now, but we ought to be close to about 300. I'll check on that. We ought to be close to about 300. So I need 200 more Patriot Partners anyway to get to the 500 number that I'm looking to get to. Okay. I think we can get on to a couple of issues, and well, maybe not a couple of issues, maybe just one issue that I need that is really, it's bothering me, it's bothering the American people, and it's this illegal immigration fiasco that we are in, folks. I just hope that this thing doesn't explode into some kind of cataclysmic event. I really do. And I mean that when I say it, because I think it has that potential. Because our borders are so insecure, our southern border is so insecure at this point. And this administration has been so hell-bent on flooding the border with people that they believe will be their new supporters, that they don't care that they're bringing in drug traffickers, that they're bringing in cartel members, that they're bringing in terrorists, that they're bringing in Chinese nationals, that they're bringing in criminals. In fact, I just read this morning, Venezuela's crime has gone down, dropped by about 60% because they're shipping all their criminals to America. I mean, again, folks, Please don't be fooled by this into thinking, well, we just have a different view on this and they're trying to be compassionate. No, they're not. They're not trying to be compassionate. These people are evil, they're wicked, and they're interested in doing anything they need to do to get and keep total control over this country. And they think this is a long-term avenue to get there. Short-term, they believe it's going to add to their congressional seats. And it will if this continues. It no doubt will. As these people flood these blue zones and these blue districts, it's going to give them additional congressional representation for these areas, even though those people that are flooding these areas can't vote legally. But that doesn't matter to them. All that matters is the end result. What's the end result? Power. Texas is trying to do something to protect its own citizens. And what do they do? In fact, Alan West is one of the people I'm going to have on Truth and Liberty at some point. We're working on that now because Alan West has kept his finger on the pulse in Texas. He is chairman of the Dallas, Texas Republican Party. As you all know, he ran for governor, actually, ran the primary for governor, and then ran for state party chair. But he's now Dallas County chair. And, of course, Alan West, Lieutenant Colonel retired Alan West, is one of the outstanding spokespersons for Christian conservative viewpoints in America. So I'm looking forward to having him on my program on Truth and Liberty to talk about what's going on in Texas right now, because it is a disaster. So this administration is suing Texas, bullying Texas, trying to get Texas to back off in interfering with their desire to flood the country with illegal immigrants. And folks, that is what they're doing. I don't know whether you were on my call, but I had an immigration expert on the call on Tuesday, and he said really the numbers are about 10 million. About 10 million illegal immigrants have flooded our country since Biden took office. We've got 2 million getaways alone, gotaways. In other words, people who they had no interaction. They crossed the border. We know they crossed, but we didn't catch them. And so 10 million people. Folks, I mean, look, that's a significant number of people. And you know, this idea that we've got 11 million illegal immigrants in the country that's one of the biggest lies that's ever been told. I mean, they keep using, you got all these people that flooded the country since Biden took office. And we've been saying for 30 years now, we've got, well, maybe not 30, I don't know, 25 years. We've got 11 million illegal immigrants. We've got probably 50 million illegal immigrants in this country. I'm serious. We probably got 50 million. They blended in now. It is a catastrophic phenomenon that is here again. I think it could explode with cataclysmic consequences on our country. I hope and pray that doesn't happen, but the potential is there, and we're being set up for it. And again, Biden and the Democrats don't care because, as I said, I think I said this yesterday, I said it on my program last night, on Truth and Liberty last night, as long as they stand at the top of the rubble, as long as they are presiding over the chaos and the anarchy, as long as they are presiding, as long as they stand at the top of the heap on the bodies of Americans murdered, raped, robbed, killed by these illegal immigrants who are in our country, who shouldn't be here, as long as the Democrats and the leftists, as long as they are at the top of the heap, they don't care what's under them. As long as it does what they needed to do. As long as it serves its purpose for them, which is power. That's the purpose, power. We may be standing on a dung heap, but it's our dung heap. That's their attitude. And it's sad, folks. It's tragic. It's just some of the stories in the time I've got left that just jump out at you. Here's 3 illegals who are accused of, allegedly, they've been caught, kidnapped and assaulted a woman, 3 of them, gang raped her. And I think they're from Guatemala. You got Venezuelan migrants starting a movement based on a social media influencer named Leonel Moreno, who is telling Venezuelan immigrants, find houses that are not occupied and go in and squat in them. You have squatters' rights, and once you're in, they can't get you out. I kid you not, folks. He's going on TikTok. That's a whole nother issue. And telling illegal immigrants, here's the way you navigate the American system. Find an empty house and take it over. Because in America, once you take it over, they can't get you out. Now, you know, they are implying that this applies only to houses that are unoccupied for some great length of time. But you know what? I don't believe that. I believe this means if you are gone on vacation or you are gone for several days and illegal immigrants break into your house and claim squatters' rights, you could come home and find yourself unable to enter your own home. With strangers and people who are not American citizens living in your home, eating your food, using your facilities, watching your television, sleeping in your bed, and you can't get them out because they're claiming squatters' rights. Now, I know you may hear that and say, now, come on, Bishop Jackson, surely if I come home from vacation and somebody's in my house, I get them out. Oh, yeah, I'm not saying you can't. But you know what? What you can't do? You can't walk into your house and pull a gun on them and say, you are in my house illegally, get out. Because you could go to jail. I kid you not, folks. It's called self-help, and it's not allowed. You know what you got to do? You got to sit outside your own home, get on your cell phone, call the police, say, I just came home from vacation. There are people in my house that claim these squatters' rights. And those police are going to do, depending on the jurisdiction, well, I suggest you get a hotel room or something because you got to go to court to file a petition to get them evicted. How long is that going to take? Oh, I don't know, 30 days, depending on the jurisdiction, 90 days, 6 months. What am I supposed to do in the meantime? That's your problem. Folks, I am not kidding you or exaggerating this. And I just think, again, that's why I'm saying this situation could be heading for a cataclysmic outcome. Because, you know, there are some people who are not going to put up with this. They're not going to go try to get a hotel room for 30 days or 60 days or go stay with Aunt Minnie for 6 months. They're not going to do that. And by the way, while they're doing that, they have to keep paying the mortgage. They have to keep paying the utilities. They have to keep paying all the bills associated with the house. Oh, yeah, you don't get excused from that. You can't go to the bank and say, well, squatters are in my house right now. I'll pick up the mortgage after we get the squatters out. They don't want to hear it. That's your home. You signed the mortgage. You got to pay. Yeah, but I'm not living there. Too bad. And you've got a Venezuelan illegal immigrant influencer telling people how to do this and encouraging them to do it. Here's a couple of his quotes. Quote, he's telling illegal immigrants this. You have a right to look for the return, whatever that means. And the return right is now to invade a house. Invade a house. That's what he's telling them. He says, quote, "We can invade a house in the USA. What do you think about this new law?" And here's one case. A serial squatter has been making headlines by refusing to move out of a $2 million Seattle, Washington property. And another one, Sang Kim, was accused of squatting in a $1.3 million home before that, and is refusing to pay tens of thousands of dollars in rent to the homeowner. And they are being encouraged to do this. They are being told to do this. I mean, again, folks, this is one of those situations where even when I hear myself say it, it almost sounds like you got to be making this up. This can't possibly be true. I wish I were making it up. I wish I could say, I'm only kidding, folks. This is not happening. But it is happening. Here's another one. He says, taking advantage of squatters' rights is the only way we have not to live in the street and not to be a public burden. So no, we won't be a public burden because we're going to take your house. But this is what the left wants. I've said many, many times, they don't care about the American people. In fact, in some ways, like Ward Churchill, they believe the American people deserve to be punished because they feel like what we've got we don't deserve and we haven't earned it, and we're exploiters and we're imperialists and we're racists and we're all of that. And so why not? You deserve to have your house taken. Probably sits on Indian land. It's okay for the squatter to take it, but not you. But you still have to pay for it. Folks, I mean, this stuff is, this is like an episode of The Twilight Zone. But you know that's fictional. You know that's made up. This is real. And I don't know. In fact, Congressman Bob Good mentioned this yesterday on Truth and Liberty. This surging of all these illegal immigrants pushing past the Texas National Guard in El Paso. I mean, they literally bum rushed them. And they couldn't stop them. There were too many. And Joe Biden suing Texas to say, well, good, get out of the way so they can come in. Again, this stuff sounds made up. You just can't. It's hard to wrap your mind around this because it sounds so unreal. But this, look, you've heard me say this before. When power is your God, anything goes. When power is your God, anything goes. You know, communists are supposed to be atheists. They're not actually atheists. They're idolaters because their true power, their true God is power. That's the idol they worship. So they will lie, steal, cheat, and kill to get what they want. Torture, commit genocide, whatever it takes to get the power and control over people that they crave is what they will do. Okay, so Oh, and here's another one. North Carolina officials are asking for answers from the Biden administration on an illegal alien that they let in who was on the terror watch list and has now been arrested after a 4-hour standoff with police in which he fired gunshots and tried to take a gun from an officer who tried to arrest him. And this guy was on the terror watch list, and they let him in. Because, you know, now they've got this whole system with this app that you can apply to the app. You get to the border, you show the app, and boom, they have to let you across. This guy's on the terror watch list, and he's already terrorizing people. And now that he's under arrest, presumably he'll be turned over to ICE officials when this process is over. Which, if it operates right, he should be going to prison for a good long time. But I mean, he's charged with assaulting a government official, resisting arrest, carrying a concealed weapon, and all of this. But these local officials, these local judges these days, these immigration judges, local judges, they just think that it is the height of enlightenment to let these people roam the streets and do harm to American citizens. They think that's just, they're really doing a great thing. Well, folks, we're going to win this battle we are in. We're going to win it in the name of Jesus. We have to. I do not believe God created this wonderful nation to see it destroyed by a bunch of Marxist, socialist, atheists, perverts, and degenerates, to have it become a dystopian nightmare. I don't believe that God created this nation to allow that to happen. I think the only thing that will stop it from happening is as we stand up before God and say, Lord, we're not going to allow this. We're going to stand in the gap in behalf of the land. And I really believe God will honor that. In fact, I believe God has honored that, which is why we haven't already collapsed into a dictatorship. God has already honored that. Now we've got to keep working so we pull our nation back from the brink. Well, listen, don't let anything I've said get you down, because I'm certainly not down. Folks, I am, forgive the metaphor, and it's just a metaphor, but I'm locked and loaded and ready to go. I said it's just a metaphor because I'm not going to go out and shoot anybody. I'm not talking about that, but I'm just talking about the mindset that we need to be in. You understand? I have to say these things because if I don't, the left-wing media will grab it and say, E.W. Jackson came on and said that he's locked and loaded and ready to shoot people. So you have to make the disclaimer so they understand exactly. So even people as stupid as the mainstream media, and they really are some pretty low-level intelligence people. They really are. You can tell by the stupid things they say and the way they think. But you got to say things in a way that even somebody as stupid as they are can't be mistaken about what your intentions are. So, but we're going to win. And you have to stay locked and loaded too, and ready to go. When it comes to the political issues, I mean that spiritually. When it comes to the physical threats to your well-being, then I do mean it literally there. Okay, let's just be clear about that. When it comes to somebody breaking into your home or trying to harm you or harm your family, now we're talking literally locked and loaded. But the weapons of our warfare ultimately are not carnal, but mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds, casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of God, and bringing every thought under obedience to Christ. We win, folks. We absolutely, unequivocally, undeniably, undoubtedly win, because Jesus Christ has already won. The battle is the Lord's and the victory is ours. So you stand up, step up, speak up, and refuse to back up. Because we cannot be defeated if we will not quit. Because we are on God's side.